Students filing back into campus at Rose Hill and classes only a week away. Joined by Fordham Interim Director of Athletics, Ed Cole. Emmanuel Berbari with you. Ed, thanks for being with us.
Pleasure to be with you, Manny, and it's wonderful to hear you speak those words. It's been a long 5 months. Excited to get our students and all our student athletes back to campus. So you said it perfectly.
Ed, so you're starting to roll out some plans to make sure that this transition is smooth and the student athletes have the proper experience this fall, even though you have the suspension of Patriot League and Atlantic 10 competition. What are some of those plans going to look like for the fall semester?
I appreciate it, Manny. Yep, we are full steam ahead. Some of our freshmen and underclassmen have already begun the process of moving back to campus. We should have the remainder of our student athletes back here this weekend as we prepare for classes on August 26th. And it's exciting to say those words. It's exciting to be in that position. It's a long time coming. We've probably had about 4 months of pandemic committee meetings and reopening committee meetings, and the document's been revised probably 25 times, including yesterday. And as we get more information, whether it be from the state, the city, or Fordham, but I'm really, really proud and pleased to say we're at a great point, and everything is going well and moving forward well. Moving is going well. Testing is going well. Athletic physicals are going well, and the process is working. So kudos to Fordham, Father McShane, his leadership. This has really been a true example of collaboration throughout our campus and working very closely with student affairs, Res Life, obviously public safety, University Health and Services. Everybody's been tremendous and really working it around the clock to make this the safe and real seamless transition for our students to get back to campus in the most efficient and safe way. So very, very proud and excited that we are at this point.
Ed, flashing back to Mark, if there was a student athlete at Fordham, they were most likely gearing up for conference play, getting ready to go. There was no social distancing. A lot changed from March to the summer and now into the fall. How much will that experience differ at Rose Hill for the student athlete?
It's definitely going to be a unique semester. It's definitely going to be a little bit of a different experience, though we are working towards that not being the case from a standpoint, and excited that gymnasiums now have been open for New York State and all of our athletic facilities are up and running. And obviously in terms of creating additional experience opportunities for our student athletes, and we're excited they're going to be able to train and have practice and full workouts. But it's going to be unique. There's a lot of safety protocols in place. Our student athletes need to test prior to returning to campus. They need to test when they get to campus. There's extensive physicals that we are providing. There's daily health checks from our athletic department and our training area, daily screenings of temperature. There's daily screenings and additional tests from our athletic and training staff. So there's a lot of health and wellness and safety protocols in place to make sure that we maintain and protect our student athletes, but also our coaches, administrators, faculty, staff throughout campus. We need to do our part in terms of ethically and making sure that we are respectful and honoring really this process, as we know it's extremely sensitive. So everything from masks to sanitizers to gloves. We are doing a 50% capacity in terms of the office space in all of our buildings. We are doing 33% in terms of our strength and conditioning spaces, our fitness centers, our workout areas indoor, making sure we are doing all proper social distancing. I know that's taking place throughout campus and through the incredible efforts of Fordham and the great support of the different areas. And it's been a pleasure and helpful working with Maureen Keown, Jeff Gray, Keith Eldridge, Michelle Burris, Chris Rogers, Bill Cook. We had a tremendous team, Patricia Menes, our faculty athletic representative. It's been so many hands on deck. We've had many coaches, many student athletes be a part of our committees and our task force. The Atlantic 10 has a medical advisory committee. The Patriot League has a medical advisory committee. We started a New York State athletic directors group. We've been sharing plans as we modify and learn from the New York State regulations and rules. So it's been a day by day, hour by hour, as you know, but really, really excited, confident, and pleased and proud of Fordham's efforts and that we are able to reopen and be in this position.
You mentioned the gyms being at lowered capacity. Have you had any conversations with coaches as to how they'll tailor their plans to make sure that the entire team is getting geared up and ready to go?
Absolutely. So besides the full university plan, which you've seen as a student here at Fordham, there's a full athletic department plan that's grown to be almost now 16 or 17 pages. Each individual team and department has their own plan as well. And I think each one is unique and specific to the team needs, number of student athletes on the roster, needs of facilities, of course, whether it be outdoor or indoor, use of the strength and conditioning space, as well as their needs of meeting room spaces or lack of locker room ability, to your point of minimal percentage of capacity. So how do we use outside, establishment of some tents? There's the ability for some students to provide and utilize changing areas. Strength and conditioning is at 33%, so our coaches creatively adapted to additional outdoor workouts and training regimen that wouldn't be all inside from a strength conditioning perspective. And same with our practice routines, trying to be creative and utilize the good weather this fall for as long and as much as we possibly can to create that proper social distancing and safety measures. And it's unique and different, and we continue to remind our student athletes of that, be appreciative and enjoy their ability and time to work out, but also really make sure that they are focused on and being responsible. And we have a Fordham Rams pledge that we ask them to take responsibility, take accountability, on the playing field, but also off the playing field, whether that be in the res life, whether that be in their apartments, whether that be in their socialization. I think as you have seen throughout the country, a lot of the challenges that many schools have come in terms of positive tests have come from really the socialization aspect. So we are really kind of driving home that education and that message to our coaches and our student athletes to be respectful and honor each other and really continue to fight this virus appropriately and take all proper safety protocols and measures.
Speaking of socialization, it is hard for a university to expect any sort of a normal experience and for the student athletes to make that experience happen if that socialization factor does go off the rails a little bit. So from a AD perspective, you're talking to a student, you're talking to a student athlete. How can they best maximize the experience in a semester that's going to be unlike anything they've ever seen?
A lot of things that we've talked about is continuing to, of course, manage and monitor their workouts, manage the ability to train and their ability to exercise and properly practice with their teams. And obviously for our fall sports, preparing potentially for the spring seasons, which is exciting. Of course, for the spring season sports, continue to train for them. For our standard spring sports, make sure that they're preparing for their seasons. And of course, continue to prepare for our winter sports. So want them to all stay focused, have their typical athletic goals, even though there is no competitions this fall. The other big part of it, honestly, is the student development piece, Manny. And you and I have talked about this throughout the 5 months in the pandemic. They've continued to increase programming around the ability of their health and wellness, whether that be nutritional and workout opportunities. Their mental health, we want to make sure we continue to help and pay attention to a lot of the mental strains and stress they've dealt with the last 5 months. We continue to look at and identify opportunities about career services, focus on their academics and their major, the ability to look at some virtual internships, some virtual alumni shadowing in terms of alumni mentoring, in terms of different issues. So almost, again, focus on the total student athlete experience, especially with no competitions this semester. So how do we make sure, positioning our upperclassmen for potential entry into industry or job opportunities? How do we make sure we get them more involved in some of the opportunities to be change agents for our athletic department as we continue to work on plans for and action plans for social injustice in our fight against racism and discrimination? The ability to bring in additional guest speakers or Zoom opportunities or alumni speakers, looking at different things that we can provide in terms of programming. We did a partnership with Jeremy Darlow. We talked about brand differentiating, where our student athletes will learn about creating and promoting and developing their own brand, which I think will really help them in the workforce, in the interview process, in obviously highlighting and accentuating their skills that they've gotten as being a student athlete. But all those pieces are our student leadership academy, the opportunities of the full student experience, even without competition. How do we give them some diversity and a little portfolio opportunities that still will better them as individuals?
Ed, look forward to seeing the plan. Appreciate a couple of minutes and enjoy the fall semester.
Thank you so much, Manny. Appreciate it, and appreciate all your help, and look forward to seeing you on campus as well. And I look forward to everybody joining me here at Rose Hill and getting back to the Bronx. We miss you all, and I'm excited to have you all back.